Hello, and welcome to the Cosmos video channel. We are an online store specializing in cosplay costumes. You are now listening to our original novel, The Extraordinary Werewolf. If you have any interest in cosplay outfits, you can contact us at coscosmos.com. Now, let's begin the story. Previously on The Extraordinary Werewolf, Glenn successfully sold all his black boar meat at a low price, undercutting the rude butcher Im and temporarily solving his financial problems. Just as he finished, the police, led by the mustachioed captain, approached him for questioning regarding the disappearance of children and the girl's report, all while the criminal boss Galras and his accomplice plotted their next move, keeping an eye on the town's security. Officer Berlin. As dusk approached, the black boar Glenn had hauled in was finally sold out. He had earned a total of 2,400 copper coins, and his pouch was visibly bulging. I am finally out of poverty for now. I can give myself a proper feast. I'll get some good ingredients later and make a hot pot. Oh right, I wonder how Layla and Bonnie are doing. They must have been terrified yesterday. I'll go check on them after buying groceries. After all, what happened wasn't entirely unrelated to me. Glenn tidied up the mess on the ground, planning to put the trash on the cart and take it with him, so the street cleaners wouldn't complain. However, he didn't leave right away because a group of people in plain clothes were walking towards him. Glenn had noticed them earlier, watching him sell his pork from the periphery, and they were only acting now. Are they Dude Town police officers? Glenn correctly guessed their identity. He was very familiar with the temperament and mannerisms of people in this profession from his past life, having dealt with them often.
Are you Mr. Glenn? We are police officers from Dewtown. May we speak with you?
The mustachioed captain asked directly.
Police officers?
Glenn feigned confusion and a hint of panic.
Have I done something wrong?
He knew, of course, why the police were looking for him. Lila and Bonnie must have filed a report, and naturally they would be seeking relevant people for questioning.
Relax, sir. We only need to ask a few questions. This concerns a case, so please cooperate with us.
Glenn let out a sigh of relief and said, "Then ask away. This concerns a case, so please cooperate with us," a younger officer behind the captain said soothingly with a smile.
Then ask away. I'll tell you everything I know.
Thank you for your cooperation.
The captain pulled out a small notebook and a fountain pen, his tone formal.
Your full name is Glenn Nabanklu, correct?
That is the name I am using now. My previous name was Dylan Nibanklu.
The captain quickly scribbled something in the notebook, then looked up. Unsure of how information was shared between official channels in this world, Glenn decided to provide the original owner's name. If he concealed it and they came back later due to misinformation, it would be much harder to explain.
May I ask why you changed your name?
Something happened. I wanted to break ties with the past officer.
The captain looked thoughtful and continued.
The captain looked thoughtful and continued. Was Miss Layla and Miss Bonnie at your house around this time yesterday?
Yes.
Do you know Layla's father, Bob?
No, I do not.
The questioning lasted only about 15 minutes, covering only the basic circumstances of yesterday's events. Finally, the captain asked Glenn a question with a very strange tone and look in his eyes. Do you really live in Bayek?
Do you really live in Bayek?
Yes. Is there a problem, officer?
Glenn was somewhat curious about the captain's attitude.
No, nothing. I just want to ensure you are well.
The captain smiled, then glanced subtly left and right, leaning closer to Glenn's ear.
When I became the captain of this station, my superiors told me never to approach that place unless absolutely necessary.
Glenn paused, his curiosity deepening.
You must have been tricked into buying a house there, right? Trust me, kid. If you can, move out as soon as possible. It wouldn't hurt you.
With that, the captain led his officers away. Captain, We still have no leads. What should we do? That young man seems completely unconnected to this case. It seems this kingdom's government knows about Bayek Town. But why don't they do anything about it? There are quite a few evil-looking creatures there. Glenn stood silently thinking for a moment, but soon shook his head. He pulled his cart into a corner and went to buy groceries. Those guys shouldn't be operating for a while, the captain said as he walked. Why? The team members asked in unison. Their targets are always chosen outside the town, which means they dare not operate inside. There must be something in town that they fear. Not long after leaving Central Street, the officer beside the mustachioed captain asked. They wouldn't be afraid of us officers, or at least not enough to stop them from operating inside. Connecting this to the important figure who recently arrived in our town, that would be Berlin. They fear the intervention of the great knight Berlin. There are only a few families with children outside town, and those have already been targeted. Areas further out are not our jurisdiction. Now, their targets can only be inside the town. Until Berlin leaves, they will likely remain dormant. After the mustachioed captain's analysis, the officers behind him seemed to partially grasp the situation. But Lord Berlin only arrived in town the day before yesterday, and the child disappearances started 5 days ago.
Captain, we still have no leads. What could that be? That young man seems completely unconnected to this case.
If they had committed crimes during that period, the news would surely spread throughout the town. If Berlin arrived and heard of it, given the nature of a great knight, he would likely intervene directly. Berlin has the heart of a knight. The chance of him finding them is high. How could the other side not consider that outcome? Then why don't we ask Lord Berlin to help us? That way, we could quickly find the perpetrators. Sigh.
Perhaps.
The captain's words were ambiguous.
But at least he is not working with those people. If they strike again, it will cause panic in the town.
One officer questioned.
Those guys shouldn't be operating for a while.
The captain sighed.
Why?
The team members asked in unison.
Their targets are always chosen outside the town, which means they dare not operate inside. There must be something in town that they fear. What could that be? They wouldn't be afraid of us officers, or at least not enough to stop them from operating inside. Connecting this to the important figure who recently arrived in our town, that would be Berlin. They fear the intervention of the great knight Berlin. There are only a few families with children outside town, and those have already been targeted. Areas further out are not our jurisdiction now. Their targets can only be inside the town. Until Berlin leaves, they will likely remain dormant.
After the mustachioed captain's analysis, the officers behind him seemed to partially grasp the situation.
But Lord Berlin only arrived in town the day before yesterday, and the child disappearances started 5 days ago.
One officer questioned. The captain's expression remained calm.
The news of Berlin's arrival in Dude Town spread a week ago. If they had committed crimes during that period, the news would surely spread throughout the town. If Berlin arrived and heard of it, given the nature of a great knight, he would likely intervene directly. Berlin has the heart of a knight. The chance of him finding them is high. How could the other side not consider that outcome? Sigh.
The captain sighed.
I went to see him, but the mayor won't let me, he said. Berlin won't be staying in town for long, and he has very important matters waiting for him. He won't let Berlin waste his time on such things.
After hearing this, the officers looked defeated. The captain glanced back, his tone abruptly stern.